This is ESBR Boxing. Delighted as always to be joined by Featherweight Tom Welland. Tom, good to be joined by you again. It's the third time I've interviewed you. You keep on progressing, keep on getting better. Back in action again, Friday night York Call. How are you feeling? How's things been?
Yeah, it's good. Obviously, we've had a good camp. Nice to be back out again. It's like a little home show for me at York Hall. You know, everyone's at home. All my family and friends can get here for this one. So, yeah, listen, it's another fight, another step in the road, another step towards major titles, and it's more learning for me.
Yeah. You must be used to this sort of thing by now. Media days, public weigh-ins, televised fight nights. Are you just how do you approach this sort of day compared to how you did a year ago when you were just turning pro?
A year ago, it was quite nerve-wracking, to be honest. Obviously, my first one was quite a big card in Harlem Eubank, sort of like big time boxing back in Brighton, you know. So it was a big old event, you know, and it was quite nerve-wracking. But I feel like as I've done more, obviously, it goes without saying, you do the same thing over and over again. You become more and more comfortable with it, you know. So it's just one of those things. I've just got more comfortable with it. I've done a few of them now. Obviously, I've done a few more interviews in the gym now and all that sort of thing as well. So the media is always around, you know. So it's one of those. It's I've got comfortable with it as I've gone on. I feel like I'm a good talker now, so yeah, I quite like it, to be honest. It's part of the fight. It's part of selling yourself. It's part of letting the fans know who you are and letting them get to know you. Yeah, I quite enjoy it, to be honest.
No, of course. How about nerves on fight night? Are you now just more used to it, and there aren't the nerves that maybe they were there a year ago, or were there never any nerves, or is it exactly the same? What's it like for you on fight night compared to a year ago?
The nerves will never change. There'll always be nerves before every fight, whether it's whether you're fighting a journeyman, whether you're fighting a title fight. The nerves will always be the same. You know, there's no getting around it. Unfortunately, to be honest, it's quite healthy to have that. Even when you was an amateur, you still get the same nerves from my professional debut as I did when I was an amateur. You know, so I don't think anything changes in terms of nerves. You've just got to learn to deal with it and learn to use it as a positive rather than let it get to you.
No, fantastic. You've been quite active your first 12 months as a pro. You've got to be happy with that. I think you've had kind of is the last 12 months that the amount of fights you wanted to have? How do you kind of assess your first year as a professional?
I don't think my first year could have gone any better, to be honest. Obviously, we look purely just for activity, not for any sort of titles, nothing sort of step ups, anything like that. And I feel like we've had step ups as well as activity. We put ourselves in a good position in terms of maybe looking at a title in the next fight, maybe the next couple of fights. And I feel like the broadcaster and people who watch boxing and avidly watch boxing sort of know who I am now, purely just for activity and doing the media days and all that sort of thing. So I think this year's been great for me. I think the learning that I've from the start of the year to now, and we're not finished yet. You know, we're still going. We've still got another fight this year. We want to get the same activities we did this year for next, and maybe even a title. So we'll just wait and see. But this year's been so good for me and great learning again.
And how's your life changed? What's it kind of like in your local area? You getting recognised a bit more? You kind of don't have as much time to hang with your friends. But how would you say your life's changed, Tom?
I never really got any time with my friends anyway, for being perfectly honest. Obviously, it's boxing all the time. We're in the gym days and nights, early mornings, late nights. So my social life was very limited anyway. But in terms of around my sort of local area, yeah, I think people like it when a local lad's fighting, especially on TV, all that sort of thing. People like it, so I do get recognised more and more now in Wickford. But it's nice to put my hometown on the map as well. You know, like I feel like Wickford doesn't get the credit that it deserves, and I like to put it on the map, not just for me, but for my family as well. And everyone that lives in Wickford should be proud of their hometown, and it's nice to know that I'm doing that for them. So yeah, listen, I love all that sort of thing, and everyone's support is so appreciated. Whether they buy a ticket, whether they watch me on TV, their support is more appreciated than what they could ever know. So thank you everyone for that.
No, of course. Moving on to your second year as a professional, I know you're not going to look past Friday night, but you did mention titles at the start of the interview. What can we expect from your second year, Tom? Are you going to go after titles at the first part of 2025? What does the next 12 months look like for you, ideally?
Obviously, we finished this year off first, but with all going well, we finished this year off and we put in some statement performances. Maybe even my next fight, but maybe even before the end of the year we'll look at a title. But if not, then definitely I think early next year, whether it be one more tune-up fight in March, April, and then we'll go again for a title maybe. But we're just going to wait and see. I think we're just going to ride the curve at the moment and just wait and see what opportunities come up with the next couple of performances and see where we are in terms of ranking. But right now we are looking for titles. We definitely want to take them steps up. Me and my team, we think we're ready for a step up, and we think the learning's done now. Obviously, you can never stop learning, but in terms of learning fights, I think it's done now. We're ready for a title. We're ready to take to the next level. And again, though, I'm only young, so we're only 20, so we have to be careful. But We definitely want to take some, maybe in a 50-50 fight, whether it's not a title, maybe in a 50-50, and we'll just wait and see. But yeah, next year's looking very promising, and me and my team have sat down, we spoke about it already.
It's been really exciting first 12 months. Really looking forward to seeing what you can do on Friday night, Tom. Final question from me, obviously, you're at featherweight. Just want to ask about your own division. Naoya Inoue, who's the king at super bantamweight at the moment, we're being told he's got one more fight at super bantamweight, which of course he's expected to win. He's then expected to move up to featherweight. I don't know how much you've seen of him, but obviously he's an accessible fighter. But from what you've seen of him, do you think he can move up to featherweight in 2025 and be beaten or just be undisputed? What do you think Inoue can do in your division in 2025?
Look, obviously I've studied Inoue days and nights. He's a pound for pound great. There was a lot of speculation of him coming up from bantam to super bantam, saying that it could be a step too far. I personally don't think feather would be a step too far for him. I don't think super feather would be a step too far for him either, if I'm being honest. I think lightweight may be a different story, but listen, Gervonta Davis has gone 5 weights from super bantam up to light as well, up to super light even. So I don't think feather would be any different to a super bantam weights. However, for me, in the way it affected me, is all about timing. We don't want that fight. Obviously, we don't want that fight in the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years. We want to just pick off little titles, make a name for myself, and then maybe look for that one-on-world title level. But I honestly think he'll clean up at feather. I think you've got the likes of Otabek Kormatov, who boxed Rayford. He was winning that fight before he got stopped. And there's other great fighters. You've got Rafael Espinoza. You've got Angelo Leo now as well, up from super bantam. There's so many great fighters now. Nick Ball, yeah, of course. Listen, there's so many great fighters now. You just can't write off anyone at the featherweights, and it's becoming more and more stacks. But obviously that means more interesting in more eye-catching fights, and whether you win or lose, they're the fights we want to be involved in. So we'll make sure we put ourselves in that position for an opportunity for when it comes up. But we'll definitely look at those sorts of fights in the future, definitely.
All right, Tom. Well, I've taken up way too much of your time. All the best for Friday night, and we'll speak to you again very soon.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Tom. Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.